I did know that this would kind of come eventually. It's proper that I serve my punishment. So, yeah.
That's Virginia McCullough being questioned in her home after her parents had been reported missing by their local doctor. Virginia had told their friends that they'd moved away from the area and were never coming back. But she was lying and knew exactly where her parents were. When police raided Virginia's home in search for answers, they found one of the most sickening cases of murder they'd ever seen.
Stay with us, show your hands. Yeah.
I slipped a pile of those into his drink. There were about 2 or 3 drinks that I brought downstairs. And yeah, they were basically, he didn't drink all of them. He only drank probably about half of 2. Get whatever's coming sentence, that's the right thing to do.
September 2023, and the doctor at John and Lois McCullough's surgery in Essex, England, realised that the married couple hadn't been to any appointments for years, so he decided to investigate further. Their absence had gone unnoticed due to the COVID pandemic in 2020, as they'd been told to isolate themselves for protection. But 2 years after the restriction had ended, and they'd still not made a single appointment. Even more concerning, they'd stopped collecting their prescriptions. Those prescriptions had been collected by Virginia McCullough, who was the youngest of 5 daughters. It was also Virginia who called their surgery to cancel all their scheduled appointments for one reason or another, explaining they were unwell, out of town, or still isolating. The fact that John and Lois hadn't been collecting their medication also meant they hadn't been taking their medication. And without it, both of them would start to experience some major health problems. However, their doctor wasn't the only person who'd noticed their absence. The couple were active before they went into isolation in 2020, with John running a small consultancy business after his retirement from the Anglia Ruskin University. Lois was retired, but had a healthy social life and loved spending time with her grandchildren. John would meet with one of his friends every week before the chaos of the COVID pandemic. So, when the restrictions were lifted, they were supposed to pick up their social life once again. But John was nowhere to be seen, and his friend became concerned for his well-being. When he spoke to Virginia, she told him her parents had moved away to another town after they'd become sick of life in Essex. John's friend found Virginia's explanation hard to believe, as it was so out of character for John and Lois. One of Lois's closest friends had also started to worry, as they kept in contact on a regular basis. But then, without warning, Lois just stopped messaging. At the time the messages stopped, Lois had been confiding in her friend about several suspicious bank transfers, as well as other scams, amounting to thousands of pounds that had been taken from their bank account. With such mysterious circumstances surrounding the couple's whereabouts, their doctor contacted the local safeguarding team at Essex County Council to raise his concerns. But they were also given a series of excuses from Virginia whenever they tried to speak directly with either John or Lois. Concerned something was seriously wrong, the safeguarding team referred the case to Essex Police, who carried out a welfare check on Friday, September 15th, 2023, to make sure the couple was safe and well. Unsurprisingly, it was Virginia who answered the door, but she wouldn't let anyone speak to her parents. But Essex Police knew they had to gain access to the property if they were going to uncover the truth. So, they returned with a search warrant and wouldn't take no for an answer the second time around. This time, Virginia refused to answer the door, so police were left with no choice other than to force their way in.
It's fine. The police! Got it. Stay where you are. Stay where you are! Stay where you are, show your hands.
On entering the house, the officers involved reported the overpowering smell from somewhere inside, which told them her parents hadn't moved away to another town and weren't on vacation. They were still inside the house and had never left. It appeared Virginia had been hiding a chilling secret that had just been exposed.
You're under arrest on suspicion of murder against Jonathan McCullough and Lies Unravel.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
Do you don't have to say anything, but it may harm defence. If you do not
No, I just
mention
take my coffee.
when in question, so much like want anything to do with the evidence. Okay? Alright, your arrest is
I'll
necessary
cooperate, I'll
for a
cooperate.
prompt and effective.
Is there anything in the pocket we should know about?
Yes, there
Where?
is. Can I take you to it?
No, you can tell me.
Can we go in there for a second, just so I can tell you something about what's in there?
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I said I need to tell you something about what's upstairs on the top floor as well.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Virginia appeared unfazed by the raid on her home and immediately cooperated with police.
No, but obviously I've got to be careful. My dad's body's in there.
Right, okay.
Yep, okay. Obviously I'll
What about
say,
your mum?
a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
That's why I said, can I go upstairs and show
Right,
you?
can you
If
explain
wanna
it to us,
bring
please? Because
officers,
we're trying to preserve this. It's now going to be seen, so we need to preserve this the best we can. So I don't want you to have you walking up there, all right? Because that's for your well-being as well as ours.
Oh, no, up.
Okay. So what?
Thank you.
Where
Can I grab some
will we
hairbands
find your
as
mum?
well, if possible? Okay, so upstairs there are about 5 wardrobes.
Yep.
It's behind the bed, at the back, next to the sink. That's the second one.
Virginia's parents hadn't passed away from natural causes. The truth was much worse and almost unbelievable for the most experienced officers to hear.
I slipped spoilofos into his drink. There were about 2 or 3 drinks that I brought downstairs. And yeah, they were basically, he didn't drink all of them. He only drank probably about half of 2. But yeah, when I went in the morning, this was before my mother. When I went in the morning, early hours, I got up about half an hour early, about 6 o'clock in the morning. Came in and he was gone. He was gone.
Okay.
It's
It's up to you if you want to talk.
yeah.
But the thing is, purpose of your arrest. Purpose of your arrest is for a prompt, effective investigation, as well as by questioning you. We can't do that here. It needs to be done at a police station, all right?
On June 17th, 2023, Virginia had concocted a deadly cocktail of prescription medication, and John McCullough was going to be the test subject. If her plan worked, then she'd go on to poison her mother in exactly the same way.
I did know that this would kind of come eventually. It's proper that I serve my punishment. So, yeah.
But the deadly cocktail of prescription medication didn't work as well on Lois, as the dose she was given was much weaker, and it only sedated her. With little way of defending herself, she could only watch in horror as her own daughter walked into the bedroom with a hammer and knife and unleashed a brutal attack. Lois was beaten with the hammer before Virginia stabbed her repeatedly in the chest with the knife, and all while the radio calmly played in the background.
Okay, so Virginia, I'm just going to ask you this. This is what I've written down based on the information you just told us, because what we regard as a significant comment, because you've made it under caution after your arrest.
By the way, are part of they're my granddad's.
Okay, right. So I've written this, please. I, Virginia McCullough, have informed Police Constables 77329 Brown and 79387 Bowers after entering my house on Friday the 15th September 2023 that I murdered my father, John McCullough, who was stated was under a bed in the rear ground floor of the house, and my mother upstairs in a cupboard next to the sink.
Wardrobe. It's a double wardrobe.
Right, okay, I've written
Double
cupboard.
wardrobe. It's like 4 wardrobe doors, but it's the one nearest the sink. Double wardrobe.
Police had found those bodies exactly where Virginia had said, with her mother found stuffed in a wardrobe upstairs, and her father found in his study, in what Virginia described as a homemade mausoleum made out of masonry blocks.
Are you happy to sign that, to say that's a true account?
Yeah. Cheer off, at least you caught the bad guy.
I've just woken up today and done my job. No.
I know I don't seem
Not a lot.
100% evil, but we all, yeah.
I'm not going to comment on anything. It's not my job to comment on it, okay? Because I've got to be impartial with everything, okay? So I'm not going to give any comment.
No, well, I mean, I deserve to obviously get whatever's coming sentence-wise, because that's the right thing to do. And that might give me a bit of peace.
Virginia was just as casual down at the station, appearing completely unfazed by the whole thing, calmly telling police, "When I was hitting her, it was like someone badly playing the xylophone." She told the officers everything they needed to know, including where to find the murder weapons.
Murder weapon is upstairs in the toilet room, kitchen knife. It's in the middle of the brown carpet, against the wall, opposite the shelves. So there are two long white shelves. So opposite where that wall is, that's where the knife is. So next bit is very hard to talk about. That's probably the most grisly detail. So on the ground floor, underneath the stairs, there's a few like storage boxes and things. And in the middle, I think it's in one of the boxes or in a bag or something. If you want me to shush after this, it's fine. But every bit helps. You will find forensic bits helpful. There's a hammer. I know, but I'm trying to help so you find everything. It's in the middle, underneath the stairs. It will still have blood on it. It's rusted, but it will still have blood traces on it.
With a clear confession, Virginia was charged with 2 counts of murder, and she pleaded guilty at the plea hearing on July 4th, 2024. During the trial, it was revealed that Virginia had made more than just a few transactions, as she'd originally said to police. She'd in fact squandered almost £150,000 of her parents' money, including over £21,000 on gambling, raiding her parents' pension, bank accounts, and credit cards for everything they had. Detective Superintendent Kirby, head of major crime at Essex Police, said the case had shocked and horrified even the force's most experienced murder detectives. He also said Virginia had created a web of lies on a shocking and monumental scale, and described her as an intelligent and adept manipulator. It's believed she killed her parents because she feared they'd find out it was her who had been spending their money, and somehow reasoned that eliminating them altogether was the only answer. Virginia McCullough was found guilty in October 2024. And will have to serve at least 36 years of that sentence before she can even be considered for release.